Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. With great honor and pleasure, here, Dr. K.M. Sumati welcomes you all for the second day National Virtual Seminar Series organized by the Department of English on blending advanced technology for effective teaching. It's the teacher that makes the difference, not the classroom. We are very unique in our own way of teaching. Blended teaching, also known as hybrid teaching, is a method of teaching that integrates technology and digital media with traditional instructor led classroom activities, giving students more flexibility to customize their learning experiences. Blended learning also provides an appropriate balance between online instruction, which offers the interactive, tech-based learning, individualized pacing, and privacy that keeps students continuously engaged and motivated, and teacher-led instruction, which personalizes the learning experience and adds the values of human element. With this brief intro, let me invite the resourceful, stupendous, and kind dear ma'am, Dr. P. Inola Aruchelvi Parvada, to deliver welcome address and introduce our today's chief guest. Ma'am, please,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Dr. Sumati. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Department of English and the Organizing Committee of National Virtual Seminar Series 2021, 30 on 16th of July, I am here, Dr. P. Inola, to give a welcome address. First of all, I'm honored and privileged to welcome our most respected and beloved principal, Dr. V. Anuradha, for today's virtual seminar. Madam Principal is the source of energy to us to do great things in the college and departments. I'm very much happy to invite our Madam. Welcome, Madam. Next, my warm welcome to our special guest, Professor Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director, Head of the Department of English, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur. We are really honored to have you, sir. Have you here, sir. Our hearty welcome to you, sir. And I want to welcome the organizing secretaries, staff members, scholars, and students for this virtual seminar. I'm so happy to welcome the staff and students from various colleges to this seminar. Once again, I welcome one and all. Blending technologies for effective teaching is the need of the hour. When we blend the recent and the new techniques in teaching in any discipline will be effective in the student's interest so that blending will become more easy and interesting. Updating us with the new technologies is important in both teaching and learning. And about Professor Praveen Joshi, Professor Dr. Praveen Joshi is a versatile scholar. To his credit, his earlier he held the post of Vice Principal and Head of the Department of English in BRD Sindhu Mahavidyalaya, Nagpur. At present, he is the Director of Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur. His other positions are he is the President of Forum for Creative Writing in English, and further, he holds the position of President for Nagpur Youth Cultural and Social Forum. He is the ex-member of Board of Studies, Nagpur University, and also member in Research Publication Committee, Nagpur University. And he is now serving as an editor for New Drafts, a little journal, English textbook, Nagpur University, Prerna International Research Journal, and he is the educational board member in Langit International Research Journal. And he served as an editor in Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar 125th birth anniversary souvenir published by Nagpur University. He is an advisor of Creative Books, New Delhi, and he is a research supervisor in English, Nagpur University. He authored 3 books and published 90 research papers at national and international level. To his credit, he delivered 350 talks in various colleges and universities. Our professor has attended 70 conferences. And he has been honored with Bharat Shiksha Ratna Award, Social Amity Award, and Educational Excellence Award. So it is a proud moment that here we have uh, our professor, an eminent scholarly person, Dr. Praveen Joshi, to deliver an enlightening special address on blending advanced technology for effective teaching. Thank you all. May I hand over the session to our respected Professor Dr. Praveen Joshi. Please, sir.
Ma'am, just a minute, ma'am. Thank you so much for your welcome address and introducing the chief guest. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I would like to invite
Thank you.
our principal, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. Amidst we have such an inspiring personality and an erudite scholar, our beloved principal DMM Dr. V. Anuradha, principal of our college, whose constant support strengthens the academic activities of our college. She is a visionary and a dynamic person to assume and handle the challenges positively and successfully. I'm much delighted to invite our respected principal, dear ma'am, to deliver presidential address. Ma'am, please, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Sumati. Good morning, one and all. Hope you all are doing well. I'm very much honored to preside over this session today. On behalf of our MVM family, I welcome our chief guest, Dr. Praveen Joshi, Director and HOD of English, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, who is going to deliver his views on blending advanced technology for effective teaching. A warm welcome to you, sir. In India, teachers were worshipped on those days. People trusted teachers that they can only mold clays to beautiful dolls. Of course, our teaching methods and tools for teaching were only with the teachers and hands on those days. But nowadays, there are so many devices or tools are available for both teachers and students' hands. Then, how can we take or make an ordinary teaching to effective teaching? That is the question now. For that purpose, we have to blend some techniques and technologies to modify our traditional teaching to modern teaching. I hope our chief guest is going to engage us in a possible and positive way to an effective teaching by his effective guidance. Dear students, you will make this session to an effective session, I hope. All the best to you. I appreciate Dr. Enola Aruchelvi Parvata, Associate Professor in English, who delivered welcome address and introduced our chief guest, Dr. Rajaram, Assistant Professor in English, who is going to deliver vote of thanks, and all the staff members, including HOD, Dr. Angeline, for organizing this meaningful webinar today. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, dear ma'am, for your presidential address. Thank you. It's so impressive, ma'am. A good teacher who gives you something to take home, to think about besides homework. The session we wait will definitely make us to think and take home besides homework. I'm much honored in inviting our today's chief guest, Dr. Praveen Joshi, who is zealous, courteous, and versatile personality. Is a director and head of the Department of English, Prerna College of Commerce, Nagpur, to deliver lecture on blending advanced technology for effective teaching. I hand over the session to the chief guest, Dr. Praveen Joshi. Sir, please, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Our respected principal, Dr. V. Anuradha, Dr. G.S. Angelina, Dr. K.M. Sumathi, Dr. Enola, and Dr. Rajaram, and all the participants. I'm very happy that your college has given me a chance to share my views on blending advanced technology with education, with higher education for effective teaching. Friends, it has become a very important topic of discussion these days, especially in the light of the new education policy, which has given emphasis on blending higher education with technology. Now, technology is everywhere. We have seen the age where there was lack of technology, and now we have entered the age where technology is advancing each and every day. The methods that we adopted last year become outdated this year. And then there is some new technique, new method, new technology that is facilitating our process of teaching and learning. There's a vast revolution across the world. And there's a competition as well, global competition, as to which country adopts more and more advanced technology to facilitate teaching learning process. Now the days are gone when students used to mug up the things and from their memory they would write their examination. Now it has become the matter of past. Now more stress is on understanding rather than just appearing for the examination. You know, in new education policy, there are multiple exits. When somebody passes only just part one, the first year, the student will get a certificate, only certificate. After 2 years, diploma certificates, and after 3 years, degree certificate. This has become more skill based. The vision of the new education policy makers is that instead of just committing the things to our memory and then reproducing them in the examination, it's better that we understand the things and then we appear for the examination. That is the whole thing. So it's a revolutionary step that our educationists have taken. Now there is one confusion in the minds of many teachers. They take hybrid learning and blended learning as one and the same thing. Whereas there is distinction between these two things. When we speak of hybrid learning, it is managing your class in physical mode as well as in virtual mode. During this COVID-19 days, what we have done, for some time our colleges were opened. Some students have started coming to college. It was hardly for a month or so, but many parents were unwilling to send their children to college. Under the circumstances, what we had done that time, we resorted to hybrid learning. That is, those who are inside the classroom, they will be given instructions, they will be imparted instructions in physical mode. But at the same time, our virtual mode was also active, and those who were at remote places, far away from the college, they used to attend online. So that is hybrid method of learning. But when we speak of blended learning means using around 40% technology to make the things understand to the students. It could be in physical mode, it could be in virtual mode. But in order to explain the things to the students so that they can grasp properly, we have to use technology. And as all of us know very well, with the help of technology, we can give a richer experience to our students. We can enrich their experience. We have always seen that if we teach our students something, probably some 20%, 30% will remember. But if they watch a movie, they will remember each and everything. It is because it is visual also. It happens before their eyes. Their experience is enriched. In that case, their memory is also enhanced. Memory level is also enhanced, and that becomes more effective. Listening and watching, both will be blended there, and that will have greater effect as far as the understanding of the student is concerned. Nowadays, we speak a lot about e-learning. I did not spend much of time on explaining what exactly e-learning is. Hope my PPT is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So e-learning. What is e-learning? E-learning is education or training delivered electronically. Very simple. And it can be slide-based online activities, or it can also be an online course. Nowadays, we see that online courses have become very popular. It has become possible only because of e-learning. The contents are delivered through electronic media. Nowadays, we see even conferences are being organized only online. PhD Viva examinations are conducted online. Many of the universities of India have conducted their exam online only. So this is how electronic is helping us in hundreds of ways. There are many benefits of e-learning. It saves time and also opens many doors for interactive learnings. Many might think that it is a kind of passive experience. No, it cannot be a passive experience. It is active interaction. But of course, that depends on the teacher, how vocal and how interactive the teacher is. Just delivering an online lecture will not do. It should be interactive. Then only we can say that e-learning is very effective. In e-learning, there is one more point, that is, learners can choose what they need to learn quickly and easily wherever they are. I mean, geographical area now is not important. Anywhere they can learn. Courses are run in America and Indians learn. There are certain courses which are in Australia and we Indians here in India attend classes. So because of e-learning, it has become possible. Now this Baiju, it has become very popular. So e-learning is possible for the students irrespective of time and place. Time and place don't matter at all. At the same time, it is instruction-based learning. There is flexibility. Digital form of learning or e-learning allows us flexibility to review lessons as many times as needed. In the classroom, it's not possible. Ultimately, we are all human beings. We keep on repeating to ourselves that my students can ask me a question 100 of times. But if really a student asks you a question 100 of times, you will not like it. And you will not be able to explain to your students the things some 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. Not possible. But as far as e-learning is concerned, that flexibility is there. If I don't understand any mathematical formula, I can watch it dozens of times. As long as I don't understand, I can watch it. And even I can supplement my knowledge by searching for the same kind of problems and formula somewhere else. That liberty also I have. As far as moreover, the system is very efficient. It is cost effective. And education remains no liability as such. Today, education has become very costly. E-learning removes education as a liability from its root cause by providing all the requisite resources at very cheap, inexpensive, and affordable prices. For poor parents, it's no liability. I have interviewed about 4 successful UPSC past candidates during last 3 years. And they said, we have not joined any class. Google has helped us a lot. Through Google, we have learned so many things. We have watched so many interviews. We have solved so many question papers. We have learned the technique of group discussion. YouTube has also helped them a lot. Otherwise, if you join any of the classes, I mean renowned classes for UPSC examination, you have to pay lakhs of rupees. You go to Kota, you go to Delhi, you go to Lucknow, we'll find they exploit the students, and poor students can't afford that. So e-learning is a great help to them. Then performance tracking is also possible there, and interactive media-based learning is also possible. But as far as e-learning is concerned, how can we help our students, or how can students help themselves? The first of all comes video assisted learning. It's the easiest method. Teachers should prepare videos for their students. First, they should explain the concept, and then they can switch on over to the video, which the students will understand in a better manner. See this video. Now suppose I have to explain to my students how is the sea life inside the sea. By way of words, I will never be able to give them exact description of the sea life. But through video, I can give them that experience. What happens when we enter the depth of the sea and what happens there. If I have to explain marine life to them, I can put a video there, and through video, they can understand, they can have that first-hand experience how marine life is there. So video will always explain to the students in a better manner the things which in words we cannot put. So all teachers must prepare certain videos as far as complex ideas are concerned. Nowadays in medical profession and engineering profession, these videos are helping a lot. There is convenience of learning as far as video is concerned. Students remain more engaged because their attention is caught. Many times we see that students don't give attention in the class what the teacher says. But if video is there, their attention will be engaged and they will watch with greater enthusiasm, greater interest, greater eagerness, greater keenness. And once they concentrate, it will not be difficult for them to understand the things. Then flexibility, of course, it is there. Revision is possible. It is affordable. Nowadays, preparing videos is not at all an expensive affair. Then easy accessibility is there. Anybody can have access to these videos. That is one. That is one part. Video assisted learning is one part of this advanced technology. Now there is one more technology that has recently been introduced, and that is very useful for schools and colleges. That is blockchain technology. This blockchain means there are blocks and there's a chain of blocks which contains a lot of information. What is this blockchain technology? It will transform the education industry. There will be e-transcripts. This is very important. Now, what happens? For example, your college has applied. Your college has applied for some kind of information from some university. It will take you a lot of time to get that information. Some student of my college applies for job to your college, and if your college authorities wish to verify his documents, if we go by mail way, it will take a long time. So what will happen? If we use blockchain technology in our college, you send a request, we will give you access, and immediately you can check the credentials of that boy, of that candidate who has applied for the post. It will be immediately available. It will be just a key away from you. You just put his name and request our institution to have the access to his record. We will allow you for some time and immediately you can get the information. If you want to check somebody's police record, whether the person has got some criminal background or what exactly, and if the information is stored, saved in blockchain, you just ask for the access to the record of that particular person and immediately you will get access and you will be able to do it. You will check the information. If some person was applying in some other institution and the same person applies to your institution for some job and you want to check the record of that particular candidate, you just ask for access to his record and you will get it immediately. This is called distributed ledger technology from blockchain. Now, for example, in education, we are using that to keep the record of the students as well as to keep the records of the lessons we are taught. And if any student immediately wants to have the access to what things have been taught, he will request the teacher for the access, immediately will get the access and everything will be before his face. This blockchain technology is used in massive open online classes and e-portfolios to verify skills and knowledge. So this technology is nowadays becoming very popular. It helps in the verification of student records and accreditation. As far as NAAC is concerned, a day will come very soon when physical inspection will not be there. You do all of the activities, you perform all the activities and put the record, save the record into blockchain. Whenever NAAC wants, they will ask you for the access and the entire panorama of the events will be before their eyes and that assessment will be done. Maybe in future, physical visits are stopped and everything is assessed. The performance of the college is assessed, infrastructure, then teaching quality and everything with the help of the blockchain. Teachers can use it very effectively to save their lessons. Every year, they need not prepare the lessons for the students if the syllabus does not change. That will save a lot of time. And at the same time, it will help them spend that saved time for some other constructive purposes. Then, artificial intelligence, that the next technology which has created revolution, waves of revolution across the world. In our everyday life also, we have artificial intelligence used in dozens of things. We have face reading machines. Nowadays, that biometric is stopped in many of the institutions. Whenever the teacher enters the college premises, his or her attendance is registered immediately. Face reading by artificial intelligence. No need for the teacher to sign. No need for the principal to check whether the teacher has come in time or not. No need for you to take your attendance for the students. You just have the device, the students will come, the attendance will be automatically recorded and registered. And no need for the parent to check whether their son or daughter has really gone to college or not. They will ask for the access, you will give them access, and they will check whether their son is in the college or not. Lying will be difficult. It will not be possible. In the morning, we open our mobile phone, Android phone, and watch social media. Even when your mobile phone was switched off, the artificial intelligence system that is fitted into it was working round the clock. And as soon as you open it, you get all the WhatsApp messages. You get all the Facebook posts. Now there is one device introduced by Amazon, that is Alexa. What is that? That's artificial intelligence. You ask any question and you will get the answer. Now we have three important artificial intelligence systems. Number one is Siri. Number two is Alexa. And the third one is Google. You just put Alexa and ask Alexa to switch on the fan. The fan will be switched off. Switch on the fan, it will be switched on. Switch off the TV and it will be switched off. This is the case of artificial intelligence. Robot, personalized robot are being used in many countries. Robot perform the task of a teacher. There are graded lessons and the student, with the passage of time, takes lessons from easy to difficult. And whenever the student has problem, the robot will explain how the problem can be solved. What is the answer to this question? So artificial intelligence is going to help us a lot in the days to come.
This presentation will focus on artificial intelligence in education. Let us examine what is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. These processes learn and direction. Research one professor who used the system to respond to stated that
this is artificial intelligence. It is going to help us in lot many ways. The ability of a digital computer or computer controlled robot to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. I would like to narrate an experience of mine. I visited the Parliament of Australia. It's a huge parliament. And only at the gate, at the entrance, there was a guard, there was a police officer. He won't talk to you. You just pass through a particular gate, go inside and move anywhere without any restrictions. The offices are open, the chambers are open, nothing is locked there. I moved around and inside the parliament for about 3 hours. It's a huge one. And there were hundreds of other visitors. So when I came back through some other exit door, the police officer there, I asked him, how come that inside there is nobody to protect your property? How come that there is nobody inside to, not to allow theft? Anybody can damage your property. Anybody can damage the furniture. He said, sir, it's all AI, artificial intelligence. We are given certain paradigms. As far as the visitors behave within the paradigms, within that limit, no problem. But if somebody tries to damage the property, immediately he will be caught. There are sensors, and what it does, along with the footage, will go to the monitoring room and police will enter and catch hold of him. That perfect technology there. I said, what are the paradigms? So he gave me the list of about 110 paradigms. I said, for example, if somebody falls by stumbling over something, he said that does not come in our paradigms. And if somebody falls like that, we will immediately rush to help him. If somebody becomes unconscious inside, that's not given in the paradigms. So immediately our police will reach there in a minute's time to help that person. So this AI has brought about a wonderful revolution across the world. In education, it is going to be a big help. Students could get help from AI tutors when teachers are too busy to take care of everyone. AI-driven programs can give both learners and educators helpful feedback. Immediately you get the feedback. The teacher has already saved the answers. The student has answered the question. If it's wrong, immediately feedback will come. Immediately. The teachers don't have to manually correct the papers. They will be automatically corrected and marks will come out. AI is that powerful tool. And our teachers must try their hand on this AI facility. Here, because of AI, we can personalize the education experience. We can look at education through the lens of distributed cognition. We can complement traditional learning with technical, advanced technology-based practice. It is vital that technology is deployed to complement the learning taking place in the classroom, both in regards to textbooks and personal development. This generation has more of this generation has become very smart, and it will have closer relationship with AI, and other technologies. There are so many other benefits that shorten the student feedback, feedback loop, and lower cost of tuitions and all that. Increase the accessibility of education, encourage research-based learning experiences, enable real-time remote class participation. This all is very easy to understand. Now there is one more technology, that is video streaming. You see, whenever you are operating social media, suddenly a video comes before your eyes. You are not clicked at it. You are not clicked it. It automatically begins. And unless you stop it, it will not stop. Some kind of advertisement. Earlier, videos were not so perfect. If there is network problem, it will not go seamlessly. It will have interruptions. But now video streaming has come as a new advanced technology, and you can give your students a seamless experience, continuous experience. Those videos will not be stopped anywhere. Those videos will not be blocked anywhere. They will not be interrupted. The video will go on seamlessly without interruption. That is called video streaming. Live video streaming like this. See, seamless video goes on like this. It is called video streaming, uninterrupted video streaming. On-demand video content and live streaming can enable a school to have access to the best top teachers, no matter how far physically they are away from each other. Now, my institution has got MOU with many foreign universities. Our teachers deliver talks here, deliver lectures here, but it is displayed there in Philippines. It is displayed there in Malaysia. It is displayed in Indonesia. It is displayed in Sri Lanka. And that's a continuous process. At the same time, wherever there is something like that, our students will be able to watch it here. So if there are 100 teachers in an institution, we cannot claim that all of them are best. Some may be good, some may be better, some may be best. But as far as video streaming is concerned, we can have the advantage of having the best teachers of the world. We can have specialized teachers. If somebody is very expert as far as marine zoology is concerned, so we can have the services of that teacher from the country where he or she lives in. And it will be uninterrupted. Video streaming will be there. The stream will never stop. It will go on smoothly, as if you are watching some kind of movie. So this video streaming is also going to give a wonderful experience to the students and develop their understanding deeper and deeper in the subject. Now see, according to a survey, close to 90% of the universities have stated that there is proof that video can increase the level of students' achievements. Digital literacy develops better and greater. With the use of online video for education, students can understand and retain information better. Students can get more assistance for assimilating complex information. Multimodal learnings get good support. Multi-learning preferences find e-learning very appealing. And there are so many other benefits. There is one more technology. I'm just trying to acquaint you with the new technologies which are in vogue nowadays. Because each one of them will require a talk of about 2 or 3 years. For example, learning analytics, I can speak for 3 years on this topic. But this is just a kind of introductory speech, introductory learning. So learning analytics, what is that? Learning analytics is going to be a boon for the schools and colleges in order to understand the child, the environment of the child, the psychology of the child, the intelligence level of the child. You put the entire information about a particular student and it will be properly analyzed and you will get the results.
Learning analytics collects and analyzes data during the interactions with other people. It serves to optimize learning and encourage decision. The finished elements of learning analytics are data, people, and management. Common sources are student characteristics, educational background, and academic performance, which is learning analytics is enabled by data, but it's not to interpret data. Learning analytics is about leveraging human decisions. It is about manners and it should be. It is mostly commonly used by teachers to identify the fundamentals and objective problems.
See, the role of the schools and colleges now is not limited only to teaching the students and helping them get degree. It is much more. Now we can personalize our instructions based on the learning analytics. Suppose I have got a class of 50 students, and if I find that the analysis about these 10 students shows that they are very slow learners, so I can customize my instruction to them. If there are advanced learners, my way of instructing them will be different. So customization is possible if we have the learning analytics of our students available with us. Right from KG1 in our Nagpur city, some of the educational institutions are doing this. Although we have not so far done it, but we will do it in near future. So the institution like Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and there is one more modern school. They have been saving the data of the student right from their KG1 up to 12th standard. And when the students leave the school, they will analyze your thing. Proper analysis will come out. And then they will guide the students which profession suits them, in which profession they can excel, which career suits them, what are their hobbies, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses. Everything is explained to the students at their graduation ceremony. The list is given to them, the documents are provided to them, their parents are called and they are given the advice as to which career their children should choose. All strengths and weaknesses are found in learning analytics. For example, some new teacher joins and the teacher does not know the class. The teacher should consult the learning analysis that is stored there, and the new teacher will be able to understand what kind of students I have in my class, what kind of students or who are the students who need customized instructions, who are slow learners, who are average learners, who are advanced learners, what are their hobbies, what are their interests, what things do they like, and everything they will get. So this learning analytics is going to prove itself a boon in the field of education. This gamification is one more advanced technology that we can teach our students in a better manner if we constitute certain games for them. Through games, they can learn a lot.
Let's be honest, it's despised. But they enjoy playing games. Sacrificing their sleep just to earn points, defeat the boss.
This gamification will motivate the student to learn easily, quickly, in an entertaining manner. And the learning will be faster. And that will be permanent. They will not forget it. Because their experience will be deep-rooted. It will be planted in their memory, permanent memory, and they will never forget it. So gamification is the strategic attempt to enhance systems, services, organizations, and activities in order to create similar experiences to those experienced when playing games in order to motivate and engage users. This is generally accomplished through the application of game design elements and principles, dynamics and mechanics in non-game tech context. Nowadays, there are hundreds of companies which provide you gamification of certain educational items. You can have that software, subject-wise you will get, and you can have it played in your classroom and see the outcome. It will be very positive and very effective. VR, virtual reality. The question is always asked, how real is the virtual? This is a question which always bothers our mind. Virtual reality, it has become a very important tool for teaching in higher education. virtual experience. The class learning experience has undergone a tremendous change since virtual reality and augmented reality came to education. In a medical college, whenever the students are taught certain surgeries are so minutely performed that watching the surgery taking place is not possible for each and every student. Then what is done? It is put into virtual reality mode, augmented reality mode, and on screen it is all visible. Nowadays, suppose some of my relatives inside the operation theater and I want to watch it, how the operation is going on. It will be reflected on a screen outside and I can see everything, what the doctors are doing, how the operation is going on. But for that, you have to be very strong. You should be able to tolerate what's going on there. So virtual reality is giving them exact experience of things that they are going to learn. The minutest thing can be amplified, can be magnified, and they can understand it by having that real experience. Although it is virtual, it becomes a virtual reality. Learning has become much more interactive than traditional methods. While VR provides a constructed reality, AR gives an enhanced view of real image. Thus, they help explain complex concepts that plain images or even the lab's hands-on experiment could not show to students. Virtual is pretty helpful when you are attending a medical training course in detail. VR creates a chance for students to experience real-world surgeries in a low-risk environment. Nowadays, if you are aboard, flying to some foreign countries, and if your flight is full of the facilities, you know very well through virtual reality what is below you, what is above you, where exactly you are, how much is the distance from your destination, to your destination, how much distance you have crossed, at what height you are there. Through virtual reality, it is all before you. So that's a wonderful tool for the students to learn and for the teachers to explain. STEAM. What is this STEAM? That is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That helps students think creatively and critically. That is going to enhance their level of imagination. Their mental faculties will be broadened and widened. Their mental horizons will be widened. They will be more creative. They will be more critical. And through creativity and criticism, being critical, they will be able to understand the things in a better manner. They will be able to properly analyze the things. STEAM-based programs are the new EdTech improvement over the STEAM programs. This new trend of education technology applies meaningful science, technology, engineering, art, and math content to solve real-world problems through hands-on learning activities and creative design. Social media, of course, we know very well that it has become a strong, powerful tool of learning. Then cloud computing is there. Without cloud computing, now nothing is possible.
Cloud computing is via the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. It's like only you can access technology. Organizations of every type and size will be designed. Such as Unidata, big data, customer-facing web. For example,
That is, even if your computer set, even if your server does not work, you can have access to the information anywhere in the world because of cloud computing. Cloud computing is the on-demand availability of computer system resources, especially data storage. You can store any amount of data. Of course, you have to buy the space. The more space is required, the more space you should buy. That will be cloud storage. Any school, any college can have this facility for saving all the lessons, all the record. In our Maharashtra last time, what happened? Our Mantralaya caught, our secretariat caught fire, and most of the computers were burned down. But since the information was stored in cloud, it was easy for us to access the information from some other sources. So there is permanence about this information. It will always be available. You go to any part of the world, that is always available. Students save on expensive textbooks as they are available in cloud. Learning material needn't be outdated. It does not become outdated. No need for expensive software. Then no need to carry around devices. Anywhere you go to, if you have got a laptop, if you have got a PC, if you have got a tablet or even a mobile phone, you can have the access to that information anywhere. Easy access is there. Data security is there. Nobody can steal that data from cloud. So these are certain advanced technological tools that we can use in our schools or colleges. It was just an introductory frame. Today I am very much pressed for time since we have to conduct interviews also. And this introduction to this advanced technology will certainly help. My intention is to create interest of the teachers in using more and more technology. We should become technologically very friendly, and our students will also enjoy our teaching, their learning and their experience will be enriched. I am thankful to Dr. Sumati that she has invited me and let me have an opportunity to share my views with all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Praveen Joshi. The session was very impressive, informative, and very elaborate. And thank you so much. I hope students and teachers, we all got benefited. And the session is open for discussion. And if you have any questions, teachers or students, you can share your views and opinions, please. Sangeeta,
Ma'am. Ma'am.
am I audible, Sangeeta?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible? If
Hello.
anyone,
Hello.
hello, yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah. Abhijit speaking, ma'am.
Could you please introduce yourself? May I know who is on the line?
Abhijit.
Yeah, please continue, sir.
I have a question to Joshi sir. Hello.
Yeah, Joshi is on the line. You please proceed.
Yes, sir.
So there is a question, sir. Nowadays, we are number of techniques and technologies are being introduced into a learning field, learning and teaching field. So I have kind of fear that can it affect the natural ability of or natural tendency of learning among students?
No, sir. In fact, it will, on the contrary, it will enhance their learning abilities. Because, you know, earlier we only used to instruct them traditionally. But now they are inclined more and more to learn on themselves. They are doing it on their own. You see, many students are always busy with Google. They keep on searching something. Whenever any word, the meaning of which they don't know, they will immediately search for it. They will also learn its pronunciation. They will also see how the word is used in a sentence. The other day, I just told my students to to look for the information about Bermuda Triangle. And I tell you, the next day there was a live discussion, and on their own, the students put across their views on Bermuda Triangle. So self-learning is motivated, and whenever self-learning is there, the ability will increase. It will never get decreased. They will not lose that tendency. They will develop the tendency more and more. And the teacher's role will be that of a facilitator only, more as a motivator rather than being only an instructor.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, shall we wind up?
Hi, yes, sir. Any questions? So, any questions, friends? Students, do you have any questions? Sangeeta, could you please proceed, Sangeeta?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping your present and not giving it. It's time to invite Dr. M. Rajaram, Assistant Professor of English, a dynamic personality of our department, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you. Respected principal, revered resource person for today's webinar, beloved members of faculty, participants from various institutions, and my dear students. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our respected principal for making our campus vibrant by permitting for the conduct of various academic programs even during this pandemic. I would like to congratulate and thank our head of the department, Dr. G.S. Angelin, for convening and conducting this webinar series that will keep the students gel with academics even during this time of adversity and pandemic. I would like to thank our resource person for today's webinar, Dr. Praveen Joshi, who gave a thought-provoking talk that introduced us to various e-learning technologies like blockchain technology, use of AI or artificial intelligence, video streaming, and gamification. Dear sir, your speech was so informative, and I hope everyone who participated in this webinar would have spent one of their most valuable times of the recent situation. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Thank you. My heartfelt congratulations to Dr. K.M. Sumati, IQAC coordinator and the organizing secretary of this first ever webinar series conducted by the Department of English of our college. I thank her and wish her many more academic accomplishments in future. My sincere thanks to Dr. Enola, who is the organizing secretary for today's webinar, for making it possible for us to listen to such a wonderful speech. It is like patting our back ourselves. I'm also thankful to our fellow faculty members who have worked strenuously to make this dream come true. My thanks are due to the Alexas of our department, the guest lecturers, for all the good support they provide for all the academic activities in the department. Yes, sir, they are the Alexas of our department. I would like to thank Ms. Bala Saraswati and Ms. Sangeeta for all the groundwork and the technical support they have provided for this program. Thank you. I would like to place on record my gratitude to the participants across the states who have participated enthusiastically to make this national webinar series successful. I would also thank our students for their graceful participation that made this program a grand success. I thank one and all for the opportunity. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajaram, for your wonderful vote of thanks and making the representation of everyone's meticulous effort. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Praveen Joshi, for your very inspiring, impressive, and informative lecture. Thank you so much, sir. We will keep in touch with you. Please stay connected with us in future too. Thank you. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Dr. Sanjay. Thank you, Abhijit, and faculty and students from other states. Thank you so much for joining.